Hey guys, and welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and here at RedBeard Outdoors, I talk about faith, family, fitness, and the outdoors, and I get to share wonderful conversations I have with people. I get to scratch the itch, as I call it, of gear nerdiness or the gear review portion, which is today being Monday. And then on Wednesdays, I give you a little pick-me-up, little quote, something just to kind of think on throughout the rest of the week. It's a solo episode, generally a little bit shorter. Today being the Gear Review Monday, I'm excited to bring you guys some arrows that I've been shooting a little bit. I'm still waiting to get my new bow set up for 2023, so I will be putting these arrows through that bow as well. But from what I've shot, these arrows at about 40 to 50 yards, I haven't gone out to crazy distances. These arrows are fantastic, and I'm super excited to bring them to you guys. Before I get to talk about these arrows and my review on them, my thoughts, maybe some pros and cons, I did want to, of course, invite you to come and join us over at RedBeard's Fit Crew and First Phorm Outdoors Facebook groups. I'll leave the links down below in the description because, guys, today, is the first week of 2023. I want you guys to be able to find a community so that you don't fizzle out after 30 to 60 days like most people do. In your goals, whether they be financial. I'm not the best at that, but I can point you in the right direction. Financial, fitness, nutritional related, archery related, hunting, outdoors, any of those things, that's what we're here for at RedBeard's Fit Crew. And of course, First Phorm Outdoors Facebook groups. Build that community up, guys, so that you will be able to last throughout the rest of the year. Outside of that, all the other show sponsors and affiliates are down below. Definitely go check them out if you're looking for anything archery related, fitness related, nutrition related, beard oil related, things along those lines. Go check them out. Thank you guys so much again for sharing the show. And now, today, I'm going to bring you these arrows, guys. You've probably seen them on social media. They're great company. They're Vector arrows. And what they do basically is they take the pain out of building your own arrows. Sometimes you really enjoy that. You get to go and build your own arrows. I really enjoy that. I've found some arrows that I like as far as building them myself with the guys at the archery shop. But if I didn't have a pro shop that was so open to just going in and building arrows with them, talking arrows, tinkering around with things, this would be the number one solution. And I think that they have hit definitely a niche in many aspects that I'm going to go over today, but it's Vector arrows. And I'll leave the link down below, guys, for you guys to go check them out. Basically, what you do is you go into the website and you put in the specs of your bow. And then once you've put the specs in, your draw length, your weight, everything like that, they spit out a couple of options. They have the ZMR, which is generally the lighter option. And then they have the HMR if you're one of those guys that likes to shoot Lincoln logs and heavier arrows. So they have those two options. Their arrows are, guys, they're fantastic. They sit there, they make sure that they're cut straight. They make sure there's no wobble in them. They are custom built arrows. And we'll start I'll give you kind of an overview if you haven't seen these already, guys. Okay. These are the 4-fletch with the A hybrids. They've got a wrap on the back, which I don't generally do wraps, but they're pretty clean looking. I like them. Okay, it's clean all the way down, which I like. And then right there, I'll flip it over so you can see it. Vector ZMR. So they're 0.0015 straightness and 300 spine arrow for me. Again, once you put in your specs on the website, they go through and they tell you what spine they recommend. And I love that 0.0015 straightness is just to tell you how much variance there is between arrows, or that there possibly is between arrows, and the straightness of the arrow. So these are about as straight as you get. If you go and buy the elite or the top end arrows of most other manufacturers, they're at that same 1/1000th straightness as these arrows. And then of course here on the front, you've got that amazing half cert. I'm not sure if they call it half cert, out cert, or what. And these are 4mm arrows. Okay. So just again, from what I've shot with these arrows, they fly straight. They did a great job as far as sending these arrows out with the weights of the arrows. They weigh every single one, and they have to be within a certain grains of each other, or else they won't send them to you, basically. And I just haven't had any issues, guys. I've never done a 4-fletch before, so this is the 4-fletch with, again, the AE hybrids. And I'm excited to see what they do at distance, see if there's much drag or anything compared to the 3-fletch that I usually run. But let me just break it down here for you from the beginning, or from the front. So that's 125 grain head is what I run. And then this outsert, guys, that the arrow goes up to about right. See if I can get this to focus, not on my face. Okay. So the arrow runs up to, you see that kind of line there on that half cert? So the arrow runs from here, the carbon is from here to about here, in between my fingers there. What that does is, and then it runs down inside the shaft as well. So it's on the inside and the outside. That strengthens the shaft, and there's not many 4mm arrow options as far as a good insert outsert or half cert situation. I know there's a couple other companies that make a good one where it's an insert and then you've got a collar on the outside. That's what I ran this last year with the Valkyrie setup, with the center pin that runs down the center of the shaft and the collar that goes around the outside. I really like that as well. This system, though, is just, it's bomb-proof, guys. You see how robust that is. And then, of course, you don't have to have any fancy. So that's the other thing, too, is some people have asked for broadheads or field tips, do you need to have a special deep 6 screw-in broadhead? And you don't. That's what this half cert fixes for you. So it's super, basically bomb-proof. And it's also, you don't have to put in your, the deep 6 special type of broadheads and field points that you do on most 4mm arrows. So with that being said, guys, I haven't done it personally, but I was there when it happened. My buddy put his vector arrows into the Rhino steel target at a Total Archery Challenge, and it was either, I don't want to misquote this, but I want to say it was either 5 or 6 times that he purposely put it into the steel, and all it did was blunt the tip here until it was either the 5th or 6th shot when he finally had some damage to the arrow. But think about that, guys. 5 or 6 shots directly into steel coming out of a bow that was, I want to say, 75 pounds. He's got 28-inch draw length, so it came out with some force. And for it to just kind of bounce off that steel, that speaks to the integrity of these, the half certs here. So I was really impressed with that. And then I went and got my own arrows. I had already had my setup for 2022 with my bow tuned in with the Valkyrie arrows that I was shooting. And I didn't want to mess with that in the middle of the elk and deer season. So now that the season was over, I was able to go out and shoot these arrows, like I said, to about 40, 50 yards. I can't remember exactly. And they were grouping super tight. They were flying straight. They weren't going into the target and coming out all, crooked. And putting these into a bag target or a foam target, I haven't had this pull out. I know some people may have issues with this the outsert pulling out because there's a little bit of a lip there, if you can see that, from the arrow to the outsert. There's a little bit of a lip. So when you have that little bit of a lip, sometimes it gets snagged on the bag when you pull it out, and it can actually pull out the whole outsert. And that doesn't happen with these arrows. Also, the fletching job on these are just, guys, it's outstanding. They do a great job. The quality control is amazing. The wraps are really good, which I don't usually do wraps. So the wraps are really nice as well. And everything about these I really like. They cut them to the specs that I needed. And let's talk about that a little bit. So again, I have the ability to go to my pro shop and use the tools that they have and dink around with arrows and cut them to different lengths if I want to, get them as straight as I want. I have the ability to do that. Not most people don't. And so if you don't have that opportunity to go to a pro shop near you, this is an amazing solution to that issue. And the reason I say it's an amazing solution to the issue is because, seriously, these guys know what they're doing. This is literally what they do day in and day out. And you put your specs in, you tell them what you're looking for, as far as if you want a 4-fletch or a 3-fletch option. They also have left or right helical. They have, again, the ZMR versus the HMR. So if you want a heavier arrow versus the lighter arrow, if you want 125 up front, 100 grains up front, they take all of those calculations and they make the arrow that is perfect for your setup, for what you need with your bow. And then they ship them out to you. So it takes all the headache out of going and making your own arrows, you possibly screwing up, not having a sharp enough saw. There's so many things that could go into making arrows and messing them up that it just takes the headache out of it for those of you that are extremely busy or just don't have the tools available at your disposal to go out and build your own arrows. And honestly, the pricing is very competitive, where if you went and bought a dozen arrows at a shop, and they'll cut them down for you, but again, you may not get that perfectly customized ability to excuse me, go back and use their tools. Sorry guys, my throat's getting a little dried out, I guess. To go back and use their tools and make it perfect to what you need. Most shops, from what I understand, mine's not this way, but they'll, you buy the arrows from them, they'll cut them down for you, and then you have to go glue all your stuff in yourself. And again, there's so many things that can go into it. One, it's time consuming, but two, you've just spent some good money on arrows. You don't want to mess that up. So if you don't have all the tools at your disposal, I would highly, highly recommend going and checking out Vector arrows. Go get a dozen. Shoot them for a little bit. See what you think. I guarantee you're really going to like these arrows. These arrows 100% check all the boxes that I can think of. They're the 4mm shafts, which it's not a huge distinction between 4 and 5mm. The 5mm shafts, or the 204 internal diameter shafts, have more of a more componentry that you can mess around with. Again, if you're a tinkerer, they're great. And but the 4mm have been known to not, at this point, have a lot of good options as far as the up front, the insert, outsert, the half cert system, having to get the deep 6 tips. All of these things can go into having a 4mm, but the 4mm is great for many other reasons. The penetration is a lot better. I've noticed that between the 5s and 4s, it goes into a foam target a lot deeper with the 4mm shafts. These also pull out really easily, not just being worried about this part coming off, but actually the slickness of it. As you pull out, it's not super tough to pull the arrows out of a foam target. And again, like I said, with the fletching job, guys, they did outstanding. It's one of the better fletching jobs I've seen outside of, again, the pro shop that I go to. So I haven't found anything that I dislike about this company, to be honest with you. I'm not a big wraps guy, so if I really had to find something to criticize, maybe the wraps, and I prefer a different knock that I might be messing around with. But you can always swap out the knocks when you get them from Vector. Other than that, to be honest with you guys, I highly recommend them. I'm going to be shooting these arrows this year. I'm going to be putting them through their paces. They also have a 3-blade fixed broadhead that I'm going to be testing out as well, seeing how that flies, if it planes at all, what broadhead I'm going to be using this year. And outside of that, guys, I don't really have any other, there's no real criticisms. The guys are great. Customer service is amazing. If you ever have anything screw up or break or something out of the ordinary, you can always reach out to them. They're going to make sure that you are put right. They back up their product, which again is key for me. And I love supporting companies that are up and coming and finding problems, like having arrows that just aren't cut right and not fixed right. And they're providing the solution for you. straight to your door, shipped, cut, and fixed to your specs, durable, and will get you what you need. So guys, go check out Vector Arrows 100%. I'll leave the link down below so you can go check them out. Let them know RedBeard sent you. And honestly, guys, that's all I got. It's just I've used them. Haven't quite put them through the abuse that I will be putting them through. I'll let you know. I'll give a follow-up review on that as soon as I put them through some of the abuse that I'm looking forward to doing. But as of right now, guys, they fly straight. They're cut to your specs. Definitely go check out Vector Arrows. Highly recommend them. And the guys behind the product as well. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. Subscribe if you want more gear reviews. And, of course, our conversations on Saturday where you get to actually watch the podcast, me interact with the people, the guests that we get to have on the show. Absolutely love the support. I love the growth that's been happening. And we got big things planned for 2023. So hopefully you guys do as well. And, of course, like I always say, guys, get out, live your life, and love it.